I didn't want to be sitting right behind the flag, so I'll do that.
Hey, Jim. When I call you over, we're up.
I know. Great. Vicky was saying, she didn't know, and I thought it was being involved.
I'm behind the scenes.
Anybody ask me, I'm going to be right back.
Okay. You went on R&R.
He knew he wouldn't be alive. And we're the second chauffeur. Oh, perfect. Just like any good soldier, right?
Still here.
No, your comments are before mine.
Before and after.
I knew you had one after.
Are you Cam? Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Dr. Doug Rasmussen. Hi, Brendan. Okay, can you introduce us? This is hi, trustee. Okay, you can introduce your crew. Go that way. I didn't know who was going to be here. Oh, you put your unused away, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know where my vote is. I'll have her come in. We just started then?
That's what I told you.
I know. Start early.
I'm trying not to get away.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome. The Tinley Park Veterans Commission, on behalf of the Village of Tinley Park, welcomes you to the dedication of the M84 Mortar Carrier, the rededication of the Illinois Veterans of America Memorial, and the recognition of the Blue Star and Gold Star Memorials. My name is Dr. William D. Rasmussen. My nickname is Douglas. And I am the chairman of the Tinley Park Veterans Commission, and will serve this morning as your master of ceremonies, and we'll try to get through the raindrops as quick as possible. Before proceeding, if you take a moment, please, and silence your electronic devices. And it looks like we're in bridge phase, so I think we're okay to proceed safely. This program is being broadcast live right now, and it'll be made available later for viewing through the village website. We want everybody to be safe, and second, I've already done that, ask you to silence your devices, please. The welcoming music was provided by the 484th Army Ceremonial Band. Would you please express your appreciation with applause? The Tinley Park Veterans Commission would like to salute and express our gratitude to the Scouts of Cub Scout Pack 365 for placing our flags along the parkway and distributing our programs this morning. Thank you, Scouts. The color guard this morning is comprised of members of the American Legion Post 615, VFW Post 2791, and Kevin Clark, Tinley Park Marine Corps League Detachment 2791. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be followed by the National Anthem, performed a cappella by Ms. Mandy Berry. Officer of the day, take command.
Present punch. Mark time. Mark. Right face. House collar. Order, punch.
Please repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me.
Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly strewn, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Ms. Mandy Berry. Please show your appreciation again with your applause. Ms. Berry is a devoted supporter of veterans and has agreed to perform for us again this Memorial Day. Thank you. Today is Armed Forces Day. It is a day that our nation honors and celebrates all those who are currently serving in the 6 branches of our military on active duty or in the reserve. Please be seated. Thank you. Armed Forces Day was created in 1950 by President Harry Truman to unify the separate holidays previously celebrated by each branch of the services. Armed Forces Day extols our nation's appreciation of those individuals who chose to leave their families and lives to confront the dangers of serving in the defense of our country to preserve our freedom. President John F. Kennedy once said, and I quote, "Our servicemen and women are serving throughout the world as guardians of peace. Many of them are away from their homes, their friends, their families. They are visible evidence of our determination to meet any threat to the peace with measured strength and high resolve. They are also evidence of a harsh but inseparable truth, that the survival of freedom requires great cost and commitment and great personal sacrifice." End quote. President Kennedy was a great leader at the world and national level of government. Great leadership is also needed at the state and local level, too. Presiding as our new mayor-elect of Tinley Park, would you join me in welcoming the Honorable Michael W. Glotz?
As we gather here today on Armed Forces Day, I'd like to extend my gratitude to those among us who have been part of the brotherhood and sisterhood of the United States military, our active duty members, our veterans, our reservists, and National Guard forces alike. We celebrate these brave men and women for the many sacrifices they have made in protecting our country as we remember our fallen heroes who have made the ultimate sacrifice.
I can't hear you.
Our armed forces have given us freedom, security, and the greatest nation on earth. It is impossible to put a price on that. Today and every day, we are grateful for what you do. Armed Forces Day is a suitable day to dedicate this M84 Mortar carrier in the Illinois Veterans of America Memorial. Together with the Tinley Park Veterans Commission and the help of several local businesses, the village is proud to bring you this wonderful tribute, which will hopefully stand for centuries to come. The village installed the M84 motor carrier in June of 2020, and it's a powerful and lasting tribute to all the veterans and branches of the military. It's been extensively restored and placed here with the assistance of the Veterans Garage of Posen and Crown Painting in Frankfurt to ensure it will last for many years despite exposure to all the elements. The Illinois Veterans of America Memorial, which once sat at the former Tinley Park Mental Health Center, was initially dedicated on July 4th of 1989 by the residents, employees, and friends of the William A. Howe Development Center. It was moved here last November with the help of Wiley and made a great addition to this beautiful area. As wonderful of these additions are, the General Patrick E. Ray Veterans Plaza itself already had a work of beauty. Constructed to honor the veterans from each military branch, it consists of 528 brick pavers that pay tribute to individual service people. It also features 7 pavers in honor of specific groups and 5 benches purchased by the local veterans organizations. The plaza is an honor of retired Brigadier General Patrick Ray, our former village clerk for Tinley Park, who will be speaking with us shortly, who has dedicated 46 years of his life to the village of Tinley Park on this board. I want to thank all the people whose charitable contributions help make this area a wonderful tribute to our veterans to this day. These contributions include Mike Beckstein of Beckstein Construction Corp., who helped us relocate the Illinois Veterans of America Memorial back in November of 2020 from the Mental Health Center property. I'd also like to thank Jim Sonoris of Sonorises, who donated and landscaped the arborvitae bushes that we have. A thank you also goes to John Banzer of Johnny's Auto Body for refinishing our metal blue and gold stars for the Blue and Gold Star Families Memorial. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our incredible staff in the Public Works Department, especially Street Foreman Steve Grossi and Director John Urbanski, for excavation and landscaping around the memorial stone and for maintaining the arborvitae bushes. We love our armed force veterans here in Tinley Park, and these memorials serve as a constant and lasting reminder of their service and sacrifice. Without them, none of us would enjoy the freedoms that we do today. This tribute is just one of the many small ways we can say thank you. So I'd like to call up the clerk, Kristen Therian. Ask you to accept the certificates of appreciation for Mike Beckstein, John Basner of Johnny's Auto, and Jim Sonoris of Sonorises. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would also like to welcome our other village officials. You just heard from or saw Clerk Kristen Therian, and we also have with us this morning trustees Bill Brennan and Colleen Sullivan. Thank you for being here. The Tinley Park Veterans Commission befittingly chose today, Armed Forces Day, to share the results of years of hard work to begin to fulfill one of our missions. That mission is to educate our citizens about the accomplishments and contributions of those who serve in our military by placing demilitarized equipment and memorials along the corridor of Veterans Parkway leading to Heroes Walk and Brigadier General Patrick E. Ray Veterans Plaza at the 80th Street Commuter Train Station. Today we announce 2 new memorials and recognize the recent restoration of the Blue Star and Gold Star Memorial. I invite you to direct your attention to your right. I didn't want to do like Bush did. That is to your right. Looking down Veterans Parkway, and you will see one of our memorials. A very large field green painted tank bearing the solitary Army White Star on its side. That is the M84 mortar carrier. The other memorial is to your left, my right. It is an 8-ton large granite stone flanked by 6 arborvitae trees, one representing each branch of the U.S. military. The granite is the Illinois Veterans of America Memorial from the Vietnam era that has been relocated from its original location at Howe Development Center, just a couple of blocks that way, behind me, and is now situated behind the Blue Star and Gold Star Memorial. In a moment, I will introduce our very distinguished guests who will provide their perspectives about the history behind these 2 memorials. At the corner of Timber Drive and Veterans Parkway in front of the granite and arborvitae, I get that one messed up. There are 2 stars, one blue, the other gold, each centered in a field of white decorative stone and each surrounded by a rectangular red border. They have been constructed according to specific dimensions mandated by the Department of Defense in 1966. Do you know what each starred memorial means? Admittedly, I did not know until I joined this Veterans Commission. I can share with you what I've learned since, and you will also understand why I didn't know before. The time in history was 1917, 104 years ago. World War I, Army Captain Robert Presnar of 5th Ohio Infantry had 2 sons serving at the front line. He designed the Blue Star flag for them. The congressional record in 1917 stated, "The world should know of those who give so much for liberty. The dearest thing in all the world to a father and mother, their children." Quickly, this was followed by people who displayed this symbol in their window to designate that a member of the family was serving in the armed forces. It became the unofficial symbol of a child in service. The sentiment of the country was in full-out support of our troops during World War II. However, during the Korean and Vietnam Wars, the display of the Blue Star in the windows virtually disappeared. There was public unrest regarding our presence in Vietnam, and that may explain why a flag was rarely displayed while I served during the era of Vietnam War. They appeared again in the Persian Gulf War in 1991, the Iraq War, and the War on Terror. Look around as you go home today. How many do you see? I think you would agree, not many. Sadly, once again, fewer and fewer are enlisting in our military today. These flags are called service flags. They are an indoor flag that is displayed facing out from the front window of the home for those passing by to see. The Blue Star represents a family who has one member currently serving in the U.S. military. It signifies hope and pride. The Gold Star represents a family with a member who made the ultimate sacrifice, that of losing their life while serving in the U.S. military. The Gold Star signifies sacrifice to the cause of liberty and freedom. A flag that displays multiple stars means there is more than one member of the family serving. At this time, I would like to introduce our guest speakers who will share their perspective regarding topics leading to these memorials that we dedicate this morning. Speaking on behalf of Tinley Park veterans, I invite a man whose training, talents, and tenure as a now retired Army veteran and former clerk of Tinley Park. Please welcome Brigadier General Patrick E. Ray to the podium. General Ray.
The chairman has informed me when he invited me to speak that I must stay within 10 minutes. So the clock is on and here we go. What I'm really going to do is share with you about 10 different times over the last 150 years in which Tinley Park served our military, served our country in combat. Each one of them involves a Tinley Parker who sacrificed quite often with their lives. The first, and one can't begin without beginning with the first, which is Private Henry Hardin. We've all heard of him, Congressional Medal of Honor winner, raised on a farm about where 159th and Oak Park Avenue is today, and he received the Congressional Medal while a flag bearer, which was considered to be an honored position. He went forward with that flag. The U.S. side in that terrible war was succeeding, and I might say that he kept on being a flag bearer. He was nominated then for the Congressional Medal for the way he acted. Went on being a flag bearer, but was killed doing it a few weeks later. So he paid the ultimate price. Now, in addition to that, and I should point out to you that the town really began during the second administration of Andrew Jackson in the 1830s. So around then, we began again providing a good deal of contribution. In 1892, Tinley Park was incorporated, changed its name from New Bremen to Tinley Park, in respect for the Tinley Park station agent, Samuel Tinley, who, and that's station number 1, which is still there, and that's where the first meeting of the village board was. Now, Tinley Park was a German town. much of northern Illinois and most of Wisconsin looks exactly like Germany. So the farmers that were migrating here migrated to this area. And as such, they settled down. Right through the 1940s and early 50s, most churches gave German services as well as English services. There was a young man named Bob Funk. Funk's Food Store, for those of you that have some history with the town, which is right next to Old Benton Houses, a hardware store on Oak Park Avenue. Today it's a steakhouse. Bob became a pilot in 1942 and was shot down over Germany. When the German patrol came to find him, they hollered at him in German, and Bob responded in perfect German. They were incensed, screaming and screaming for almost an hour at him while he laid there. How could a German be fighting the right? For the honor of being a pilot for us, he was put in solitary confinement for the rest of the war. He didn't talk too much about afterwards. Some of us knew him, but I can tell you it was a difficult task for him. So for him, we also provide a special salute. I should say that, as luck would have it, a number of Tinley Park soldiers of World War II fought in the 5th U.S. Army, which at the time Mark Clark in England. It just happened that every single one of those returned to Tinley Park and decided to become the first auxiliary police in this town. And they were, and started with a very nice tradition. Now, I can add a few more things, but I just want to conclude because I'm going to stay in my 10 minutes. The village has always been supportive of its veterans, as our mayor restated this morning. Because of that, we are one of the few communities in the state that have an active American Legion, VFW, each one. Few communities our size, and we're proud of that. The Veterans Plaza, which is next to us, underscores our continued commitment to the veterans. So from our Congressional Medal of Honor winner in the Civil War to Bob Funk quietly staying in confinement for his actions, to our young veterans of today, we all thank you very much.
Thank you, General Ray. I'd like to introduce Mr. Tom Dukes. Tom Dukes was one of the Vietnam veterans who collaborated on the project leading to the creation of the Illinois Veterans of America Memorial. I welcome Mr. Dukes to address you about this memorial. Mr. Dukes.
Good morning. Before I start, if there's any former Howell or Tinley Park mental health employees here, would they please raise their hands so we know who they are. It's nice to see faces once again. On behalf of the former employees of the Howell Center, Tinley Park Mental Health Center, and the individuals who lived at our facilities, thank you for attending our memorial rededication. In 1989, former Vietnam vets Paul Taubey, Billy Wilkins, Chan Early, and myself we're at the Tinley Park Boat Rally, which we used to call Unit 6. We talked about how blessed we were that the state of Illinois took a chance and hired us. We were hired at the height of the Vietnam War protests. This is the time that we were not only not welcome back home, but employers would not hire Vietnam veterans. We decided we wanted to do something to give back something to the state of Illinois, and came up with the idea to build a memorial to honor all Illinois veterans. With the support of administration and fellow co-workers, we built a memorial on our campus. When our facilities closed, our memorial fell under disrepair. At that time, the hope was that either the state would have another facility or the property would be sold, but our memorial would remain on the campus and be maintained. If this was not going to be possible, my plan was to move the memorial to the VFW in Frankfurt. That was near the location where Billy Wilkins found our stone in 1989. And I thought that was a great location for that memorial to be. And we came up with a better idea. Prior to the move, the Tinley Park Veterans Commission contacted me and came up with this idea to move our memorial to this perfect location. The plaque was removed and will be reinstalled at a later date. On behalf of the former employees, individuals whom we serve, I would like to thank the Tinley Park Veterans Commission, the Village of Tinley Park, the Village Public Works Department, Sergio, our Chief Engineer, and the Illinois Department of Central Management Services for making this move possible. I know that Billy Wilkins, Paul Tawby, John Early would be so proud to see the home of our new Illinois Veterans Memorial. To Billy, Paul, and John, I would like to say, welcome home. You have done your country and the state of Illinois proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. The acquisition of the M84 has been an arduous journey that started 7 years ago. When I first became a commissioner on the Veterans Commission. Funding for the restoration of the M84 was accomplished through the budget approved for the Veterans Commission by the Village of Tinley Park. The static display of equipment program demonstrates the commitment of Tinley Park to honor our military, who serve and pledge that those served and serving shall never be forgotten. This project was hard wrought through the persistence and patience of then Chairman Major Wiley Roberts, United States Air Force Reserve, now retired and living in Tennessee, and the tireless concerted efforts of the leadership of VFW Post 2791 Tinley Park under Command Sergeant Major Fred Cagle, U.S. Army, retired. I will introduce to the podium now Command Sergeant Major Fred Cagle.
Good morning. All right, fine day to have a ceremony, is it not? Like I used to tell my soldiers, it don't rain in the Army, it rains on the Army. Get used to it, so enjoy. Right now, what I like to do is I'll talk a little bit about the M84, but right now, one of the sons of Tinley Park, Michael Southern, I'm sure y'all know him, every year the VFW presents a scholarship for $1,000 to the Andrews student. This year, we're going to present it here at this memorial. So right now, I would like to call up Jim Hudak and also the commander of the VFW Post 2791, Kenny Risnick. And they will present the $1,000 check to the student of the year. Come on up, guys. Don't be scared. I am.
We're always scared when you're around.
Damn right. No, you're right. No, I don't need no mic. That's for officers and politicians.
He cleaned that up. Anyway, excuse me. Michael Stutter Scholarship, I'll give you a little background on it. Michael was in the Army. He got shipped out to Iraq. And the day before Christmas, you can't hear it? Okay.
Take it out. Take it out. You can take it out.
Is that better? Sorry about that. Anyway, Michael was shipped out to Iraq, and in 2003, on December 26th, he was killed. Michael was an EOD specialist. For you civilians that don't know what that means explosive ordnance disposal. In other words, he has to take any IEDs apart, bombs, things of that nature. Well, unfortunately, the one Michael was working at was booby-trapped and he killed him. So the Post was very supportive of Michael's family, the residents here in Tinley Park. He went to Andrew High School, and this is kind of where we do the honors once a year for the seniors graduating. We have some criteria that I give the teachers. They pick out the student. I just give them some guidelines. So we do that every week, every year. At this point, I'd like to call up this year's winner, Michaela Serlowski. And Rich, would you come up with her, please?
This is her grandfather.
Yeah, her father, unfortunately, his mother fell today, and he had to take care of her, so he couldn't make it. But her father and the grandfather are both life members of our post. So, Michaela, this is for you. Congratulations. You're all good.
And now you're the music guy.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, take it easy. I know, don't fall again. All right. So, like I said, the Michael Scholarship we give out once a year to a student at Andrews High School, and it's well deserved. I hope it goes to a higher education. Right now, the M84, to your right down there, sitting there real pretty like, all right? Well, it didn't look that pretty when we got it from Cameron, Illinois, way up north by Woodstock, I believe it is. We had to, first off, I had to contact TASCOM to try to get a piece of military equipment for the village here. And it took, as the doc said, almost 7 years, 3 years for me to working with TASCOM. And finally they came down with a piece. They called me up and said, Command Sergeant Major, got you a piece of equipment. It's been sitting in this spot for 50 years. American Legion Post went out of business, and if you want it, it's yours. So it took a lot of work to get a truck, a crane, to drive 130 miles to pick it up and bring it to Tinley Park. First we took it to Frankfurt, to Crown Painting, had it restored, and it's looking real nice today. Those symbols that's on the tank, AmeriCal and the 196 Light Infantry, those are my patches. Don't ask me why, but somebody put them on there. All right. So, well, it looks real good. The M59, this is part of the M59 tank, was manufactured by the FMC Corporation in California back in 1954. FMC stands for Food, Mortars, and Chemicals. So that's what kind of company this was, all right? All Army, hoorah. And it was in production from 1954 to 1963. In that time, there was 6,800 of these this piece of equipment manufactured. This is a good piece of equipment. It is what the infantry soldiers need to get them through the combat. What they would do is it would open up, and the mortar inside they could fire anywhere and get out of town. This thing travels 43 kilometers a minute, which is pretty fast for a tank. So they went out of business. We sold them to Brazil, Korea, South Korea, Puerto Rico, a couple other countries. But they're no longer in manufacturing. They M133 took their spot, 113, I'm sorry. So if you got any questions, feel free to stop by and see me, and I'll answer any questions you got. But remember, it took a lot of hard work with the major and myself and the village, and we got it, and it looks good. And we appreciate you allowing us to host it here. Thank you very much. And it's good to see the Army band. Makes me homesick. All right. I should have changed my MOS and been a band leader. All right. All right. All right.
Thank you, Command Sergeant Major. I don't think he needs a microphone. By the way, the size of that tank, you can get a Jeep inside of it, just to give you kind of an idea. My predecessor, surgical nurse, Major Wiley Roberts, United States Air Force Reserve, now retired, had a vision. He had a vision when the Blue and Gold Star Memorial Project was created. From his thoughtful and reflective perspective, the placement of the Blue Star was intended to be closest to the train station, representing the volunteer soldier leaving his home to serve in the armed forces. The Gold Star is placed closest to the downtown village of Tinley Park, representing the fallen soldier returning home to a community that honors his presence, his service, and ultimate sacrifice of his life. Now today, from my perspective, the Illinois Veterans of America Memorial is like a crown jewel, a keystone supporting the archway of an entrance to the parkway. It was created in granite to stand in unwavering perpetuity, flanked by the 3 evergreens on each side, representing the 6 branches of the military. The placement of these trees signifies the strength and solidarity of our young volunteer persons who presently serve and those who continue to extend their initial voluntary service for several years to persevere our way of living in freedom, and finally to those who have served and keep the commitment that our military shall never be forgotten. The M84, whose armament now demilitarized, symbolically represents the might of our military and stands at the ready as a centurion protector over the memorials you are witness to today, constructed on this corner. The projecting .50 caliber muzzle now rests silent, but directs a tangent vector toward the VFW post 2791 as a salute of honor and appreciation to all veterans. I invite you to view the displays we have brought to you today of the plaques that will be mounted shortly after this dedication. Their permanent presence will serve as a perpetual reminder that the preservation of the freedom we have is dependent upon the strength and resolve of our military protectors. We have been focusing on the memorials on the ground, but has anyone noticed something adorning our light standards? There are 19 banners posted along Veterans Parkway, and they proudly display the success of our banner program, which will continue each year. Individuals and families from Tinley Park and nearby communities purchased a banner that depicts a photographic profile in honor of their veteran. These banners will fly throughout the next few months, and they will be returned to the purchaser following the Veterans Day ceremony. Before closing today, I wish to once again extend our deepest thank you to the Scouts from Cub Scout Pack 365 for assisting with the placement of the flags along Veterans Parkway and distributing the programs. They represent a significant role in the direction and leadership in our nation. The young scout who earns his eagle is held in high regard and respect as an adult in our world of military business and government. As you depart from here today, let us remember what President John F. Kennedy said, and I quote, "Word to the nation, guard zealously your right to serve in the armed forces, for without them, there will be no other rights to guard." Thank you for attending. May God bless you, and God bless America. Thanks for attending.